Hey, good evening, whenever you may pick this up. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of time. It's 7 p.m. Give me a little wave, say hello as soon as you are watching so I know who's there. And tonight we've got a little bit of a special workshop to look ahead to 2021. And we'll see how you got on. So how did you get on today? It was bit more of an engagement one. John, you did really well. I love reading that back today. That was fantastic. So, and that's what it's all about. I mean, we'll talk about that a little bit, but anyone else, as soon as you're in, let me know. How did you get on? And just say, hello, I'm here, I'm watching, I'm listening. That way I know who's here. All right. So today's process, we're on day 4 of the social media challenge. Great results. I've been so impressed with what I've been seeing. I think the hashtags, Natalie, that sent through, oh my God, you did loads. It was amazing, really good. So that's just these little details that make a big difference for you. All right, I'm going to get started in just a bit. So that means we'll just have to catch it later on, which that's just how it goes, right? So where are we? We're on day 4, okay? But tonight I want to talk about, go over a couple of different things. If you've got questions, you can just chuck them in, and we'll go with the flow, as they say. So tonight, again, I want to look a little bit ahead and quite far ahead. I want you to think about where you are on your journey with your business or your personal brand, wherever it is that you're looking to grow and develop yourself. So if you've got any questions, first of all, just say hello so I know you're here. All right. Now, today's task was all about engagement and building relationships. So tonight I am going live on YouTube on my page, so it's as well as in the group. All right. So if you are watching off the Mindset Explosion page or YouTube, them, basically, the guys are on a 5-day social media growth challenge. It's day 4 today, and they've done a little engagement and building relationships exercise day. But I thought I was going to put this out on my page and also in the YouTube as well, just because I got some quite important stuff to share with you tonight. All right, and you can all benefit from. And if you're not in the if you want to get on the challenge, you can still catch up. The social media group is going to close. I think Sunday. I think I'm going to close it down. Oh, thank you, John. Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. All right. So how else do we get on? So look, like I said, everything's about looking ahead tonight. All right. And everything that we've been doing in the challenge this week has been very much for that. It's to prepare us, it's to help us see ahead. It's to kind of, it's definitely to set us up for 2021. And if all the skills and the tips that we've picked up, if we can maintain that, and start honing it and start tweaking it, then we can only improve on the areas that we really want to improve on. So the challenge, I've called it a social media growth challenge, but really it's about building relationships. So the challenge has been very much about building relationships through pushing our stuff out on social media, or obviously connecting with other people. And relationships, that's just so important in life and in business. We create relationships all the time. So if we go to a shop, it could be in an area or town that you've never been to before, and it might be just a one-off place. You're on a holiday, you go into a shop, you buy a bottle of water, whatever. But immediately you create a relationship with whoever serves you. If they're rude, you're going to remember it. If they go out their way to serve you, you're also going to remember it. And that is paramount for us in everything that we do in business and but in life as well, in our personal relationships, everything. The online community, though, has made the world a much smaller place. And this can either elevate us, or it could cripple us as well. But if we play it right, we can make it work so much for us. So social media is a big part of our marketing. And actually, we are marketing ourselves as much as our business all the time. But what I've noticed, and I've done this as well, when things got titled difficult, it was sometimes wrongly, the marketing seems to go first, and it's such it is lit. Well, I had to learn the hard way, and I soon picked that one back up. But marketing does often seem to go first, because we start focusing at the end result. We're trying to get people. We want people to buy from us. If we're all selling, if we were wherever we were, is something's got to get sold somewhere, right? But we sometimes focus too much at the end. And everything I've learned over the years since becoming, even when I was an engineer, I was an electrical engineer from, I think it was about 10 years, something like that, maybe a bit less. But in that time, it was all about a funnel, but I didn't understand it quite the same way as when I got into teaching martial arts, or becoming selling and marketing of martial arts, as my instructor and my former boss kept telling me, and my good friend now. So it's basically what we've done this week is trying to, if you imagine a funnel, so at the bottom of the funnel is the person that buys from you, where they come into your shop or they buy a service from you. That's, they're at the bottom, they take an action. But if it's just like this, it means we're only getting a few in. What we're trying to do with your social media and creating these relationships is expand out the top. And instead of focusing at the bottom, I'm not saying we ignore them, we focus more about expanding the top of the funnel and getting people in. And it's something you'll probably hear every business coach will say, and because it makes total sense, with the good ones. All right. So we're trying to get people in at the top, and as well, like, not everyone is ready to make a decision. So when we get good top content going out on social media, and when we're creating these relationships, we are thinking long term. We're not coming across as desperate to, come on, you got to buy from me now, sell this, I'm going to buy this. We are warming them up so that later on down the line, they can then make that decision. And it takes away a lot of the stress in the sales process for you and for them. Because, nowadays we kind of feel, when you go to the shop, can I help you? You kind of feel straight away, I do. And here we go. And even on most things. So it's, look, let's start putting our information out there as best as we can. So, as I said, if we only focus on the action takers, we're going to find it so stressful, and then we end up going into more of a scarcity mindset. So I've learned over time, and sometimes I'll flip out for some stupid reason. I have a brain fart, whatever, and I end up, I focus down here. It's like, no, stop. So focus on the top of the funnel, pouring in the top, letting it flow down. As long as you've got the procedures and the systems in place, then everything will fall into place. And you'll see that there's numbers. So this is like a prospect up here. The numbers never, ever lie. If I got nothing at the top, it's very hard for me to get something out the bottom. Simple as that. If I got so much in the top, nothing's coming out, but there's a blockage somewhere, and you can look down the line from a prospect to someone that's, like, from my point of view, martial arts, we got someone that's, having a look. Then we have someone that maybe leave contact details, then someone that purchases a trial, and then someone that comes and has a trial. But if something's not working, if it stops there, I know where the problem is. It's not up here. Does that make sense? So that's why keeping an eye on the numbers is so important, and analytics, through the social media, everything. And the more you can take a little bit of time out to scrutinize it, and you can see then, where you need to focus your area of work. It's like during the pandemic, we had to close, like many businesses, and it was scary. And I sat and watched businesses like mine in my industry, and not like mine, closed down, and frankly, a lot's panicked. And what I'd learned over the years is, like, we were ready. I wouldn't say no one was ready for a pandemic, no. But we were ready for the lockdown as best as we could. And straight away pivoted to get ourselves online, keep our marketing content somehow going out. We couldn't sell in the same way because obviously, the staff were furloughed. But what I'm getting is there was stuff there for people. They could pick up live training. I'd actually been preparing an online database, so I've always been looking ahead. People thought I was a bit crazy. Oh, you can't do it, martial arts. How can you do this? How can you do that? Da, 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 da. But I just shut that out, and thank God, I did. It made so much sense. It just blanked that out, and then we just cracked on. So was able to get on straight onto live streaming, and unfortunately, I watched others, get there a little bit later. I'm not saying they didn't get there, but I think maybe where their mindset was a little bit stuck, or it just wasn't quite right. They eventually got there. But in my case, it's often been the case, and not to sound like an ego or big head, but I can on heart say it. I was probably one of the first with martial arts in the UK to have my academy looking the way it does, running a lot of the, not saying the first, but one of the first. Definitely, I didn't keep track of who was first, who wasn't, and slowly I've seen others doing the same. I'm not suggesting they copy. I just feel I stayed ahead and I looked beyond each month and each year. And unfortunately, I was able to invest in great mentors as well. So I joined business accelerators and growth mastery courses, got myself on business seminars, and slowly upgrading and implementing myself and developing myself and the business. And I made sure I was learning weekly. So I wish there had been a challenge like this. It was awesome. I would have saved time. But this has been, those that have done the social media growth challenge this week has been quite intense, and you've done really, really, good with it. Oh, my son's watching. Hello, Murphy. So you've done really good with it, yeah. So I made sure I was learning weekly, and all during some of the most difficult times of my life as well, growing the business, and slowly it was able, with the mentorship, to remove hats of, I didn't have to clean up the place so much more, and removing, not having to worry about the bookkeeping. Someone else can do that. Managing the place, someone else can do that. So gradually, as I've gone on through business, been able to remove the hats. Eventually, as I went through the different training programs, I was able to get, 2017, I joined a mastermind. It was based in New York. It was $15,000 a year. And it was the best investment I have ever made. It was something I'd been eyeing up for ages. Every time I went to a business seminar, they talked about it. They get people up on the stage. Some were sometimes, had real struggle at the beginning, but I learned so much from those guys, and I owe a lot to a lot of people for my development. And the reason I went to New York was because basically whatever happens there eventually gets to the UK. So I just wanted to be first in line. And I met some all-time greats, may or may not heard of. So Gary Vaynerchuk, got to meet him, and he come and talked one time at our mastermind, and Grant Cardone, and they have like a Dragon's Den in America. I can't remember. Shark Tank. One of the guys from there, Damon John, came over. I got to meet JP Sears, if you've ever heard of him, and grabbed him backstage for an interview for one of my interviews. It didn't make sense, right? But we did so much, covered things like NLP coaching, the marketing. We worked on social media, business systems, recruitment, lead generation, staff training, how to develop them, onboarding processes, the power of gifting. Even where I learned how to put Facebook ads together, and that changes every 5 minutes. So it's one of the things you've got to stay on top of, and creating other funnels, a little bit like what I said, through Facebook advertising and marketing. They even covered Bitcoin once. Can you believe it? But understanding systems and creating them. It was just, that was for my martial arts business, but it was just constantly drummed in my head. In fact, the main mentor, Michael Preller, he said, what you're learning here, you have chosen a hard business in martial arts. It is a hard business to run. It's tough. It's a tough industry. What you're learning here, at some point, you ought to be passing on. And that's basically one of the things that, part of the reason why I've done the challenge is, how, if I've got all this knowledge, can I serve? Can I pass it on somehow, which is what the focus of this week has been. Constantly drummed in my head was product, service, facility. And for many businesses, you don't need a facility, but product and service, we definitely got to have. It's so important. It's one of the things I'm trying to look at and improve and evolve and develop. Haven't always got it right, but in my head, got to make this better. How can I make this better? How can we change this? On top of that was pay, stay, refer. So if we're doing a great job, got the marketing funnels, great. All right. If I got a funnel that is filling up at the top and it's slowly coming down to the bottom, eventually someone's going to pay, they're going to buy from you, and they're going to pay more. They're going to stay by paying more. And if we're doing that great a job, they're going to refer other people, which is, obviously even better for us. So again, the social media comes into play again. If you've got the great content on your page, someone's referring and doing a review, it all comes back. People have got a platform that they can use and they can talk about you. Make it easy for people to be able to shout from the rooftops about you. So again, it very much conditioned into business is a marathon, not a sprint. So it's having that abundant mindset, no matter where you are at. There was times when it was just tough, and everything I was getting was going straight back to the business. I lived in a horrible flat for ages, simply because I wanted to focus on my development and putting everything back to making the business a success. And not for me, just for me, for my staff, for my family, my children, the clients, everything. It was so important to me. And just from being part of those training groups, it encouraged me to do things I didn't even dream I would be doing. Even with the facilities we got, I think I love my facilities. They're so smart. I spent a lot of money on the reception and the bathrooms. I thought I was encouraged and taught, and it's kind of fed into me now that to be different than everyone else, be different, almost like a niche within a niche. So I wrote a book a few years back. I've started my own Facebook live show, podcast, and again, I don't want to. I'm careful what I say, because last thing I want is discredit anybody, but it's stuff that people are kind of following on. I'm not saying I was the first in the world, because that would be done, but I mean, within my industry, it's one of these things that I'm just doing my best to stay ahead of that game. We did lose clients, of course, in the lockdown, in both, more so at the beginning. Obviously, with the pandemic, it freaked a lot of people out. Of course, it would do, and it was a lot of uncertainty. Yes, that's the word that gets used a lot. But I kept the marketing going somehow and kept serving as best as I could. And I think that's, it's so important. I didn't let it defeat me. The same as, the rest of you guys are watching, and there's people that are starting out in different things since getting involved, since we come out of the pandemic. So when we reopened in July, we were one of the last ones to open, but anyway, as an industry, fitness area or whatever, but we had a waiting list already for new clients. It actually was hard for us to keep up with the new prospects that wanted, that paid for a trial. So we had prospects that were interested, so they were on a system. Then we had the ones that had, they've gone to a buying decision of purchasing, say, a trial, come in and try us out, but we were struggling to fit them all in. Great problem to have. So I had to pivot again, created some new systems to change that onboarding process. Now, it's not something that's going to be relevant for everyone. I get that. But the point is that with the mentorship, having mentorship, it helps adjust your mindset and almost like a paradigm shift in the way we think. And you start definitely see things very differently. So I'm always part now of a mastermind coaching program of some kind. I've come back to the UK now with it because I wanted to expand out, and I love being able to mastermind with different business owners, because I feel I learned so much. So I pulled away from the ones. So the one in America was a martial arts business mastermind, but look what I got from that, amazing stuff. So yeah, I like to get involved in different ones now, and you learn so much just from and what you find is what you didn't know, someone else will know, and they'll be able to help you with it. It's an amazing mastermind, is an amazing thing to be part of. Say mindset, really, I would say, is such an important factor in everything I do. And it has been a massive foundation in my success, wherever we're going to measure that. And of course, it's something I do as my mindset explosion. Even as a martial arts instructor, that was really our USP, was personal development within those classes. And as an instructor of martial arts, which is what I am, I realized so much the importance of course, of having a mentor, having a coach, and really one that you can work with and you got to trust. And it's like a two-way, again, it's a relationship thing. So if it's someone you feel like, yeah, I want to get mentored by this person, their principles, they gel with mine. Everyone's different. So it's always about relationship. And it's important. I realize it's important because I need it for me. I need it for my personal growth. My children, if I grow, my children grow, my team grows, the clients grow. So everyone, it's like a win-win situation. Not just left a bike out in the rain to get rusty. It's being looked after. It's being treated, and that's the same as how I see, personal development and coaching and growing ourselves. That goes back to a business. So, and as an instructor myself, it's not possible to learn something on the first class. You just can't. You see it. You see how something's done. You hear how it's done. You try it. You give it a go, but it needs to be refined. Made more efficient or changed. And no matter what's happening, you're going to pick up bad habits along the way. And that's why I've always looked for myself to have a mentor. So I've obviously, my martial arts instructor, as an example, he's still my martial arts instructor. I still learn from him. And if I go to a different one, I'll learn from them as well. Every mentor I have, yes, John, definitely. So let me just put that question up. So worth stressing, a mentor should question and challenge, advise, not direct. Definitely, we lead. This is one of the things I do sometimes in my teaching, that is guiding people, to the right area. Definitely, and of course, I think it's great when you got someone that is coachable, and they're willing to be coached. I think that's quite important as well. But the coach is there. It is to guide. It's not like, hey, they do that. You can only. Have you seen that thing, John? It's like, I can only show you the door, but you gotta be able to step through it. So yeah, thank you for that. So I get back to where I was. Thank you. I love interaction. So yeah. No matter what happens, you're going to pick up bad habits, and of course, the coach is there to show the way and guide. Yeah, and I feel that I found that was my skills in teaching, but not just in teaching, finding potential in others and hopefully guiding it out of them, pulling it out of them, but putting them in a different direction and creating a support network where everyone felt safe and it benefited everybody. And in fact, some of the procedures we have, now I've picked up is, who is it I want to sell, because you're selling, is, who do I want to work with? And if I'm bringing people into that area, well, I want to make sure they're going to fit as well. So it's quite an important process, before I even get to, we're going to teach. And I feel that's something that can be passed on, it's not, we want to get paid, of course we do that, but that's part of being in business. But it's more, if we can provide that great service and find the people that really we want to work with, because let's say I have a bad egg that comes into a class, it's going to have a knock-on effect to everyone in there and care so much about. So it's again, it's all part of the funnel process and getting down to that refined perfect person where it becomes a great two-way relationship. So I've always been more, I think, than a martial arts instructor. Of course, it's definitely evolved over time, but the principle, I think, has always been the same. And from teaching kids shy and emotional into confident young adults that knew their self-worth, and and I think that's so rewarding as well. It's great for them. Again, it's that two-way thing. I always have a young man that comes to see me. He first started teaching him and crying all the time in the classes, but then went on to do drama and be in plays, and now he's a teacher at a private school in London. So, and that's every year I come back. He still calls me Mr. Rudman. Mr. Rudman, I just want to thank you for the. So having that skill set has been, part of my journey, and even with adults, have gone on to new career paths. I remember one lady was, I hate you. This is from martial arts. People still don't get it, you see. But I'm not talking about martial arts so much. But I hate you because you encouraged me to go back to college, and I've become a counselor, did psychology or something. But the Michelle, who's my manager, the same. Through this, like the teaching that I do, finding that, and like you said, John, really, it's just challenging, advising, and showing the way, really. So giving people the tools to come out of their comfort zones in the same way that I did, the same way that my instructor brought me out. And that was sometimes some real tough training for me, but he knew, it's knowing, I think, how to, what works for people, how they will learn. So I've used everything, basically, what I'm getting at, the skills of teaching, then to pass on to my team, everything I got from being under a mentorship and a coaching program to build my team. And they to a point where they treat it as if it's their own. Literally, I don't think they see it like as a job, because they dedicate everything to it. We had the roof leaked earlier in the year, and oh my gosh, the guys were there. I didn't even ask. They just turned up. They were sorting it all out. We even have people come in voluntary. So it's testament of again, this is all from the coach and the mentorship that I've received, and then passing on to these guys to build a great team, that just want to be part of something. I kind of went a bit sidetracked there, but you get the idea. So thinking of ahead for your businesses is really, is that something you would want? Is that something you can, you're thinking of as well? As like, if at some point, if you're doing it all yourself, it's great, but how long can we do that for? What things do you want to be able to pass over? And with your team, is like, how are you going to structure them? How are you going to build them up? And not everyone's going to be like that. It is a bit of, it's finding the right people. And some is just by chance, of course. I made a lot of mistakes along the way. It's not as easy as it sounds, but without mentorship, I would have been completely lost. So I was an engineer up till 2005, electrical engineer, working in an office, learned loads, produced systems. I was a quality engineer as well, but I changed my career in 2005 to become, it was what would be seen to the outside world as a martial arts instructor, but that was the fun part. Like we said the other night, John, the fun part is the teaching. It's the other bits that come along the way. I was working self-employed, but under my instructor. So in a brand new school in Gloucester, we have weekly business meetings, learning systems on obviously sales processes, the funnel process and marketing. We didn't have social media then, unless you can count Bebo and MySpace, but I never got that. So I don't think it was quite the same thing. It was literally outdoor marketing, going up into town. And when I started that job, I gave up obviously electrical engineer, it's a good career. I'd say take obviously quite a big pay cut, but I loved every second of what I was doing, because I believed in what I was doing as well. But to part of the marketing, that it was a little bit harder, but going up to people, if you imagine someone coming up to you in the street and full on do a martial arts bow, stick their hand out in front of you and to shake it and then tell you their names and what's your name, that was me screaming out. That was part of the process. Simple. The top part of the funnel, get, will they say yes? Will they stop? Next part, all right, they got a bit of interest, name and number. They get called later on. So we weren't focusing on getting, right, you do martial arts now. The focus wasn't at the bottom of the funnel. It was always at the top, and then slowly kind of, bring them in. Obviously, they get called up, and then later on, they come and do a little trial lesson. So some would obviously would fall out the filter, but at least with those numbers, it comes back to numbers. We knew where they were on the process. I knew what I had to work on and what I needed to improve on, and obviously working for someone else, he knew where I needed to work and what I needed to improve on, and that's what we did. So I grew that. We got to about 200 members really quickly, and then came over to Cheltenham, started a brand new location again. Not a single person, not a single member, but again, within less than, I think, 9 months, we'd achieved 200 members, which is outstanding amount. That was 2007. All right. So retention, of course, like keeping those people was very important. Otherwise, people soon cotton on that something's not right. So we were able to, bring them in and look after them, nurture them, and moving on from there. So I bought the business. Actually, I bought that location. I was running that location in Cheltenham. I was doing all the classes. I had two people or one person with me at the time when I took it over. So I asked Stephen, can I buy this out? And I could have just gone, but for me, loyalty is so important. Stephen had invested in me heavily, both faith and money. So I asked about, would he sell that location? He did. And we've remained friends since, so that was all good. I still didn't know it all. So now, even though I knew as the manager and the head instructor, obviously I was running a huge portion of it, but I didn't have the anxieties that come with actually, that's all in your name now. You got to pay all those bills, and you got to make sure that this all works how it should work. So I still didn't know all, and I felt very much I had to start again, and I had to learn again as well. And it wasn't the best times of my life either. I was going through a little bit of depression and unfortunately some other things, but I didn't let that stop me. And social media was just starting to, being used that little bit more then. I think, for business, we hadn't really used it up till that point. So that's where I focused. I started by focusing on the numbers that mattered, and that's this funnel again. Numbers at the top, pouring in at the top, bringing them in, nurturing the people that we got, and obviously, running the other systems and serving, pay, stay, refer, the service, product, facility. Actually, my facilities then, they were awful. So I had to really make up for that through, the service and the product. And again, made a few mistakes, learned from other people's mistakes, so I didn't make mistakes, and just continuing pretty much as best as I could that way. As a result of the mentorship that I had, we was able to quadruple the gross that we were taking as a business, which was important. It enabled me to move to a brand new location, and it looks so smart. It's enabled me to provide opportunities for staff members and keep them in a good process, a good loop, and I would say it made a big difference to getting through this pandemic. I often see things differently and a new way of doing things, and I hope for those that took part in the challenge that you've seen that this week, right? I like to be a niche. Yes, this is a niche, but if you can find a niche within a niche, then you automatically stand out, and it takes away a lot of that work. I've used kickboxing and made it into a very successful fitness class, within the Cheltenham area. And it's that popular. We struggle to find places for people in the actual class now. And just, again, it's from following systems, maintaining them, understanding the funnel system, and the maintaining of, clients, and how we create that safe environment for them, and for them to continue to feel like they're learning. So attracting and maintaining the clients and moving with the times, thinking so much outside the box. I love to learn. I just love it. But I love to give back what I learn as well. And I aim to give so much energy and value to whatever I do. And I hope, again, through this challenge this week, those that took part, hope you've got to experience that. But what are my goals for 2021? So as I evolve, and as I've evolved over the years, and as I continue to evolve, so does my business, and so does my team. I'll catch that question in a minute, John. All right. And so does my team. In January, I'm taking on a digital marketing apprentice. She should have started the other week, but of course we went into lockdown, so it wasn't appropriate time. So we spoke to her in the college. They're going to start. They're going to start in January, and that is going to be taking away a big portion of the work and help me focus on my next projects and goals that I want to do. My team look after everything. I've been back teaching a little bit, once or twice a week coming out of the pandemic. So basically, as Michelle was a former member of mine, actually, now the manager, And I got to say, very proud of Michelle, very proud of all my team. This was someone that was very shy, very a little bit shy and quiet, wasn't sure what her direction in life was, and now is stood easy, can teach a class and get the best out of them. The same skills I've had, I've been able to pass over to Michelle. She manages Cheltenham Martial Arts for me. I don't have to worry so much about it. Sometimes you may ask, Michelle, you just crack on. You know, she's in charge. So she and the team, they look after the social media. So for my pages, Cheltenham Martial Arts, Fitness, Kickboxing, and the Instagram for them, very, very rarely do I create a post for that. That's all down to the team that I've got and looking after the other processes of the sales, everything else, the marketing, the teaching. So it's enabled me to be able to step back, because time is freedom. I wanted that freedom, for other things. For when it is school holidays, I wanted to have the time for my children. When it's been the summer, been great for lockdown. I got to spend a lot of time with them. You only have 18 summers with your kids. So having that freedom as a business owner, it was so important. And I'd done the hours before. I'd done the long nights and 12-hour days, if not more, and went through times where I didn't have much time for anything else other than that. And it took a toll on me. And I realized that I did not want to go for that again. And I certainly would not want anyone else to go for that. It's finding those little, having that mentorships that I've had over the years, it definitely helped, because I got around like-minded people and I saw how they were doing it. I saw how they were living. I don't mean necessarily, some were living a lavish lifestyle, and others, it was just, I got freedom. And that was so important to me. It enabled me to pursue other things, a bit like the challenge that we've done this week. Excuse me. So my focus is going over the next year is going to be on serving in other areas, sharing the knowledge and the skills I have learned over the years and picked up, helping people avoid the pitfalls I avoided and the ones I didn't avoid, because they're important as well. So my goal is to help as many small business owners or business startups elevate, their business, their personal brands, as much as my own, as well as my own, but of course, to the next level. So in January, I am going to be launching a Growth Academy. All right. So in January, I'm launching the Growth Academy. So you got the website there. It is a 12-week program. It's designed to grow and evolve business owners, a small business, independent or startup, to elevate themselves and business to the next level. All right. If you've taken part in this 5-day social media growth challenge, you already have enough to keep you going. You've come out with 40 pieces of content. You've come out how you got ideas on how to plan and set up your social media marketing, and create an engagement. We did that one today. I have seen amazing results, and for those that took part, I'm so proud. It actually better than what I thought, what I was expecting. The results that you've given me back. I know it was intense at times, and it was a little bit, some of you outside the comfort zone. But it was an intense learning action taken. But don't forget, tomorrow we've still got another day, okay? So the presentation I'm talking about tonight, the Growth Academy, yes, but tomorrow there's still another day left. We're going to come up with some great content for you tomorrow, right? So look, if you've done that challenge, that might be enough for you to keep going, all right? That is enough for you to keep going. Or, as an idea, if you're like me and you do thrive on self-improvement and you understand the importance of having a mentor and a coach in the areas you need help, or you understand that the best investment you can make is on your education, developing your mindset and your business skills. You got to step outside because as a business owner, we have to be able to step outside our comfort zone. I could teach martial arts and I can do martial arts, but what I didn't know was the other bits that come with it. I think, John, we might have spoke about this a little bit the other day. It's the other bits are the work, the bits that get people to the top of the funnel, into the funnel and staying in, passing down the phone. Then when they're in your process, keeping them on your processes, and so that they do not just pay, but they stay, but they refer, and they feel that they are getting a huge amount of value. I think that's so important. Again, it comes back to the product and the service. And if you have a facility, that's important as well. That again, that's the things that are drummed into my head. So you understand the best investment you can make is on your education, and that you have to be able to step out your comfort zone. You take action, and that's the one way I feel that business will grow, or you will grow. Well, you definitely grow as well, but it's got to start with you. It's not that you're growing the business. You have to grow you first to be able to grow the business. So the Growth Academy may be something you want to be part of. I'll tell you how you can join today for a hugely reduced price, and that's basically down to the COVID situation. So what does it include? 7 mastermind sessions, all right? A mastermind, if you've not done a mastermind before, it's basically a group of peers that just regularly meet in order to give each other some guidance, advice, and support. If you've read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, it's a great book, highly recommend it, great for mindset and personal development. But in there, he talks later on in the book about masterminds. I think he interviewed over 1,000 entrepreneurs and business owners, and what he's saying is that mastermind groups are essential to operating a successful business, growing your business entity, and achieving your goals and dreams. So that's like I've already explained what I got from doing the mastermind sessions and the workshops that we were involved as part of the Growth Academy. You get accountability. So like this week, those who took part, it was like you were so accountable to it. And I think someone said, "Oh, sorry, I'm late." Well, it's not for me, it's for you. But I'm not laughing at that person. What I'm saying is that was the perfect attitude, because it meant that they understood. They understood that they wanted to get this done, and that's how the accountability works. You get a chance to ask me questions, whether it be about marketing or systems or sales or social media, goal setting, mindset development. Definitely going to be a big thing. Business mindset, thinking ahead, developing, working from the inside out, working through customer care, how we can improve our customer journey. Understanding those numbers, that they never ever lie. Numbers do not lie. If you got this full at the top and something's not coming out the bottom, then you just got to work up a little bit, and you'll find where the block is. I need some more experience on the sales process or the marketing bit. If there's nothing coming through here, well, is it the top part? It's not necessarily the bottom part is wrong. So that's stuff we will cover, in our mastermind discussions. And because when there's a group that someone, or every mastermind I'm on, it's not always it's the person hosting it and obviously sharing stuff. But what you find is that because there's different business owners there, they have other ideas. Hence the mastermind. We work together, we share ideas. And a lot of collaborations come out of those as well, which is fantastic. It leads on to things that you wouldn't even think about sometimes. So 7 mastermind sessions and 4 workshops. So I hope to get some guests on for various different things. But the workshops, they're pretty much going to be designed. It's encouraging you to think way outside the box and position you as the expert in your field, whatever your field may be. Okay, and I think that was paramount for me, is positioning me in a different manner, elevating me in a different way, and attracting the interest that, for me to be able to help do more with the community and do more obviously with the business and my staff. On top of that, there's going to be some additional classes that are based on an online training. And so I'm going to start building them up prior to the launch date. I'll tell you the launch date in a sec. As private group, a little bit like the one for the Social Media Growth Challenge. So you can ask questions, and if I can't answer it, someone will be able to answer it, because that's the whole point of being in a mastermind. So someone will be able to answer any question, or sometimes it might be, I need has anyone got a form for this, or what procedure would you use for this? So if it's something I wouldn't be able to answer because your business may be slightly different, but between us we would come up, or someone's got something, someone's always done something that you haven't, if that makes sense. And you've always done something that someone else hasn't. You're getting a members app, okay? So you'll be able to download the app. That's going to enable you to log into the sessions. It's going to have to be over Zoom, obviously, due to the current situation. But each of those Zoom sessions will be recorded. So through the app, you'll be able to get direct access to a recording if for some reason you miss it, or you need to go back over it at a later date. And you've got lifetime access to the recordings as well. Is also with the app, you got direct communication with my team, as well as there'll be the app, but also you'll have an email link to how you can pick up those lessons as well, right? So it's not just always I've got to look at it on my phone. It's a bit, don't worry, there'll be more to it than that. The Growth Academy will be Monday nights. It's 2 hours. It's 7 till 9 p.m. via Zoom, okay? And we're pretty much alternate it out. It'll be a mastermind workshop. There might be a few masterminds, one after the other. It's starting from Monday, the 11th of January, and I'll take you up to the 29th of March. I'm not doing half term, okay? Just I think a lot of people might want to take a break. We don't know what's going to be happening, so I've left that one free. I definitely want to have some time with my children anyway, and I would have started it next week or in a couple of weeks, but with Christmas, it didn't make sense. So I thought let's start in January with the actual Growth Academy. And that way we're not like overthinking things. But I will put some content for those that get started on it prior to the actual launch date in January. So this is for anyone who, business owner, small business, independent, or startup, or self-employed, who wants to develop and grow. All right, and want to work with like-minded people and creating new opportunities for themselves for now and for the future. It's not for you if you can't commit or you're not prepared to do the work, all right? But something that's, if you ever read the 7 Habits Highly Effective People, the last habit is sharpen the saw. So sometimes we think we haven't got time. Well, we will be doing things on time management, of course, because it's a growth academy. I want you to grow, and even if it's 1% grow is better than 100% of nothing. But believe me, I'll be talking funny. We will grow more than 1%. But obviously, do nothing is fine. If you've been on a challenge, you've got quite a lot. But if you want that extra support and make sure we're staying on track, as well as some other great things, then obviously the Growth Academy probably would be great for you. And if you did, also we'll do more on the live Facebook. That if you missed the live workshop I did last week. So sharpen the saw means, look, it's hard to cut a tree down with a blunt saw. Sometimes we got to take time to sharpen that saw, get ourselves more effective. Okay. So the pricing of the Growth Academy was a struggle. It's not really something I need to do. I get paid from Cheltenham Martial Arts, so that's quite cool. So it's not something I needed to do. But I wanted to do it. I do like to serve, all right, and I do want to see everything get back to normal again. It's a bit of maybe a project, but I want to give the best, and I want to pass on. If I've got all this stuff and I've been able to make a martial arts studio grow and develop the way it has, then everyone keeps saying, Matt, you know so much, you should pass this on. You should, why didn't you think of doing this? So this is what I'm doing. So I want to do this. I want to serve, see the world get back to normal, and help people get a good start in business, or take a step forward. This week, the Growth Academy with the 5-day challenge, we've given away thousands of pounds worth of training, if not more. And the content and experience you're going to get from the Growth Academy is going to exceed far beyond that. And if it wasn't for the pandemic, I would have priced this at £1,500 for the full 12 weeks, which is quite low when you'd actually expect from Mastermind to pay between £500 a month to £1,000 a month. Okay. However, I do remember that when I wanted to get on the Mastermind myself, wanting to join on accelerator programs and other growth academies or growth courses like this. I remember what that felt when I just didn't quite have the money to do that, when I couldn't quite afford it. And coming out of being through a pandemic that we're going through, I realized things are a struggle, things are a worry. And I had to be patient until I could afford it. Or on some occasions in the past, what I had to do was borrow the money and take the risk, or stay in a 2-bedroom horrible flat for a little bit longer, and keep my pay cut down. It has been a tough year. So basically, I'm going to reduce it down. And this way, it's an opportunity that I can give to serious startups or small business owners. Obviously, when we come out of the pandemic, the price is going to have to go up. So for this intake, and I will be only doing intakes into the Growth Academy every quarter. So the next one's not going to be till March. So for this intake, I am opening up the Growth Academy from now. So it's open to register, get started for just $599, and that's for the full 12 weeks. All right. So the actual masterminds will start 11th of January, but prior to that, there'll be content. You'll be into the group. The members group will be in there from next week. All right. You'll get access to the accountability group. I'm going to drop more content, and I'm going to put some more training in for you, so you can start working on your own convenience until we start the actual next intake officially on the 11th of January. You'll get access to the apps, the courses as they get added. I'm only taking a small amount on the intake, enough that I can serve and enough that I can manage. Obviously, I've got an apprentice starting, so as time goes on, I will be able to take on a few more. I don't want to spread myself thin. There's no point to that. It does not serve you. It does not serve the people. It won't serve me. I want to give my absolute best. I want to be able to dedicate the time in there for you. So it's not about making money. I just want to serve and help as many people as I can. But I got to be careful that I don't, great, I have 100 people in there, but I can't serve everyone that way. Would not make any sense, and people are just going to be unhappy, and you're not going to get the benefit from there. So I got to keep the intake quite small. But registration for this intake is going to close on Monday night. All right. And as I said, I won't take another intake until March next year. And by then the price is going to go up. And likely each quarter, the price will go up till it gets to a fair state. And of course, coming out the pandemic, it's not, pandemic's over, right? That's it. I want to make sure that this is in line with that. And it is important to me because I have seen so many business close, and it's such a, it's so sad, such a shame. As a bonus, if you sign up tonight, I will give you a free one-to-one. So a free one-to-one with me via Zoom. All right. So worth about £250 for a good hour. So that's anyone that signs up tonight. So my team will contact you over the next few days if you'll join in tonight. Book you in a suitable time. Being part of the Growth Academy and following the training, you are going to grow and position yourself to stand out. And I'm going to be with you each step of the way, because I want to see you succeed. I love it if someone accelerates past me. Happy days. That's always been something I've fundamental. And when I'm teaching, even martial arts, I want to see people do well. I want you to succeed. I want you to not have to need me anymore. That for me, I think is a sign of a good coach, where you don't need to do this anymore, or you seek out maybe a higher level coach. But of course, I'm seeking out my higher level coaches as well. So hopefully we can continue to grow. I hope you're going to from being part of the Growth Academy, that we can create you some new collaborations and set a clear path for you and your business, granting you more freedom to pursue whatever you want to pursue, whether that's freedom for yourself or your family, or freedom, like I said, to take on new projects or stuff where you may want to serve the community. Whatever freedom would mean for you, that is surely the ultimate goal. Okay, you may want to remain, if you're like if you're working it's just you might want to stay that. But to me, I think the greatest things I did was hand stuff over. It wasn't easy, but it's nice to be able to take a step back and hand over some of those responsibilities that make your business work. It's a huge relief when you do, especially the little things that, well, for me, it definitely would have to be admin. And handing over the bookkeeping to someone else, that's better. Everything along those lines. It's huge relief, and it frees you up more time. That's the whole point. We grow so that we can provide, we can pass stuff over, and then we grow some more. We're able to step back. You can oversee what's going on. You can see everything, and you can develop the team how you want to develop your team. And you might even just want, just a couple of virtual ones. It doesn't have to be a full-on, full-time team. You find people that are going to help, maintain you. And like, for the same reason, why I would not want to take on loads of people. I would not be able to, do my best for a lot of people, but I can definitely give my best to a small amount at this stage. Yeah. So it's an investment that's going to grant you time to oversee your business and its development. Okay. If you want to invest in yourself today, then take this one-time offer, the 12-week Growth Academy. Go to the site, mattredman.com, $599 for 12 weeks. You get the 7 masterminds, the 4 workshops. They're recorded, so you can always go back to them. You've got lifetime access to those recordings. I'm going to be doing some extra content just leading up to Christmas. And if there's edit stuff you want, you can ask me, Matt, can we learn on this? I want to find out more. That's what we'll do. We'll work together on it. And just by being part of a mastermind, that way you may have I've got this problem with this, whether it be recruitment or human resources. There's enough people then to work together and give the advice, or at least find that help. It makes life a lot easier because we all support each other. If for whatever reason though, you're not happy after 60 days. So if by the end of January, you would have done a couple of the sessions and as you say, this is awful, give your money back, because that would make sense. So there's a money back guarantee. You're not happy, but if you're getting it in January, it's like, nah. Obviously you got to attend, take part. So remember, tonight is, if you're interested to get started tonight, you get a free one-to-one. Hope to see you there. Is there any questions on the challenge or today's task? If you've got any questions about the challenge that we've done today, or about the Growth Academy, drop them in. I'll do my best to answer. Or you can email me at matt@cheltenhammartialarts.co.uk. So if we've got any questions about it, just drop me a message or drop me a private message through Facebook if that's easier. Or if you've got any questions about today's challenge. But we will be back tomorrow. So 6 a.m. in the social media growth challenge group. Okay. And tomorrow you're going to be creating some content. It's going to be a good one tomorrow. Push the limits. And don't forget, then in the evening tomorrow, we'll come back at 7. We'll have our little bit of a celebration party. So bring a wine or beer, whatever. And I'll drop you some more content as well. Okay. So that's going to happen anyway, regardless of who joins the Growth Academy or not. But I do hope to see some of you guys on there. And you've done, for those that took part in the challenge this week, you've done so well. So you've picked up some real key fundamentals. So just make sure you keep on going there. But we'll talk about that a little bit more tomorrow. All right. Doesn't seem to have any questions. So if you do want to ask me anything, let me just pop my email in here. I'd rather do it privately. And then you can drop me a message. Anything to do with the Growth Academy, or questions about it, then just ask, okay? Seek and you will find, yeah? There we go. All right, if you've got any questions, drop me an email, okay? And I'll definitely get back to you. And actually, I got to go to my mastermind now that I'm on. Keep on learning, I never stop. All right, guys, thank you so much. And I'll see you, those on the Growth Challenge, 6 a.m. tomorrow, final one. Oh my gosh. And then in the evening, 7 p.m. for our closing party. Peace, love, thank you. Bye-bye.